My phone is my bank.
Sampat Mobile Banking. Convenient, easy, saves time. Sampat Bank, we present your future.
A very good evening and welcome. This is Newsfirst Weekend Primetime News here on MTV and Shakti TV. I'm Ramesh Irugal Bandara. As always, let's start off with a look at the headlines tonight.
President to implement a program aimed at the farmers after the elections. Strong statements made on the political stage on the controversial central bank bond issue. Doubts over the tenders called for the Central Expressway. Allegations levelled by the United People's Freedom Alliance. Election Secretariat takes a strong turn to prevent illegal election propaganda. Praveena from Sri Lanka crowned Shakti Global Superstar.
Our first story of the night, President Maithripala Sirisena says that a program aimed at strengthening the economy of the agricultural community will commence after the elections. President Sirisena made this statement at the event held to unveil the pinnacle of the Chaitya constructed at the Aralagamvila Kanderaja Mahaviharaya. President Sirisena added that actions of the former government resulted in areas such as Kandegama being treated in an unjust manner. The President's media division said that the President had promised to initiate a national program on domestic food production aimed at the agricultural community. The Treasury bond issue, which was at the center of much controversy, continued to be a topic broadly discussed in the political arena today as well.
When the government needs money, the central bank issues bonds. The central bank says it needs 1 billion. Then what happens? One person says he will give 100 million at a certain interest rate, and another person says I will give 300 million at a certain interest rate. They arrange these offers in ascending order from the lowest interest rate to the highest, and then they obtain the 1 billion. They issued bonds for 1 billion, but what happened? They obtained 10 billion. When this happened, the son-in-law of the governor of the central bank has got 500 million. The interest rates have increased from 9.7 to 11.7%. When the transaction transpired itself, the loss stood at 6 billion. The losses have now spiraled to 42 billion. The construction of the Mahaveli was 50 billion. What is the loss from the bond scam? 42 billion. Ranil Wickremesinghe just commenced his journey after pasting posters. The loss the country incurred by the central bank treasury bond issue is equal to the sum that is allocated for the education ministry every year. It is equal to the money given by the Samurdhi for 4 years. And it is also equal to the cost of construction of the section of the expressway from Matra to Beliatta. The President himself said that the governor of the central bank needs to be removed. Was that done? The President had instructed for his removal. He would not say so if a wrong had not been done.
Meanwhile, the book penned by attorney-at-law Sujeeva Senasinghe on the truth of the central bank bond issue was unveiled in Colombo yesterday.
This is the final report that was recorded on the last day. This is a copy of the statements that were recorded on a daily basis. The governor of the central bank did not have any personal involvement here. However, there is a conflict of interest in this. I believe that action will have to be taken on the governor and his son-in-law. That is an issue on ethics. However, we have not received any form of report or evidence of any theft. Therefore, I put forward this challenge once again to DEW Gunasekara and Mahinda Rajapaksa. He is now on our level, and therefore we invite him too. We also invite Bandla Gunawardena. I am prepared to face 10 people at any time on any channel. This is now an issue for us.
This is indeed something that was brought up to accuse the UMP for swindling money. If the governor favoured his son-in-law, he did not have to go in for a transparent auction. He could have called for a direct placement and awarded it to his son-in-law. Initially, they said that the governor gave money to his son-in-law and a loss was incurred by the country. They did not make a statement thereafter. Then they said that this was done to collect money for the election campaign of the UMP. They have no clear argument.
We have put forward a 5-point plan. The first point is to eradicate corruption. We will make a separate mechanism for this. We will punish all those who are involved after investigations, irrelevant of which government they are from. They are speaking about the bond scam. We would like to state that we will create a mechanism to investigate and punish those responsible for this as well after the 17th.
The UPFA, convening a media briefing in Colombo today, noted that there are doubts regarding the allocation of massive government projects.
First, this government stopped the construction of the Northern Expressway. However, now they have recommenced it. They have changed the name to the Central Expressway. So this government is continuing with the projects of the previous government and are simply changing the names of the projects. So the innocent villagers would think that the previous costs were high and the cost presented by Ranil Wickremesinghe is more or less. Not a cent has been reduced. Back then, the government decided to have 3 lanes towards one side, so that it will be 6 lanes in total. What has this government done? They have reduced it to 2 lanes per side. The other thing is that the contract has been given to the very company that they said are thieves. This government had given the tender to the same company that the government of Mahinda Rajapaksa gave the tender to. After the single biggest fraud that took place in the country under broad daylight, last week there was a clear attempt to head in for the second single biggest fraud in the country. Last week, measures were taken to completely privatize the fully state-owned gas company. Advertisements were published citing that the tenders will be opened on Sunday. Such matters are usually not taken up on Sundays. The tenders were opened in the absence of the suppliers. 34 international companies had presented their prices for a metric tons of gas. Ascon had offered $106.75 Oman Trading International or OTI had offered $112 while Primex Oil offered $113. Shell had come forward offering $112. The issue is this. Low offers were rejected under various reasons through the assessments made by the technical committee. However, Shell has been given the opportunity to enter the country again.
ෂෙල් සමාගමට නැවත ලංකාවට ගෑස් සැපීමට එන්න ඉඩ ප්‍රස්තාව ලබලා දීලා තියෙනවා.
What you witnessed was the trending story for the day. Here are a few of the comments that came in through Newsfirst.lk/Facebook. Madhu De Silva says, only 23 days more. Sisra Kumar Thalagal says, don't lie to the people. Just because the government's changed doesn't mean that agreements made previously change. Murshid Mahroof says, people know who the real crooks are. Twisting facts won't mislead them. Let's now turn our attention to views expressed by political leaders on the political front.
We need development in the villages. We need to give a facelift to the roads, rivers and markets in the villages. That's why 20,000 villages in the country have been included in the recommendations to create 2,500 cluster villages. Funds will be provided for the development of the agriculture in these villages. 200,000 employment opportunities will be created every year. So for that to transpire, we need international investments. There needs to be a market and a need for that. It is only then that we can develop the country. Look at what has happened. The pace of development on these tracks are slow. The work on the expressway has stalled and so has the work on the roads. They are putting a stop to all what we had completed. I wanted to provide all the households with a water supply. They stopped it. The loans that they obtained over the past 6 months is more than what we took for a year. The Mattal International Airport was built by the former president after obtaining millions in loans at high interest rates along with the commissions. There are no flights that reach the airport. If means of employment were created, that could have been justified. However, we will bring in new innovation to the Mattal Airport and we will transform it to an international airport where jobs will be created and will bustle with flights. The ghost of Rajapaksa was put in a bottle and the cork was tightened. The very corrupt ministers and MPs from the former government who tightened the cork are the ones who removed it. The depth of the port from where the money was swindled is only 10 feet. Vessels cannot anchor and there is no profit. There are no jobs at the airport. They swindled money and there were no benefits and no jobs. The people of Hambantota understood this and they told Rajapaksa to never come back.
The Election Secretariat has taken strong measures to prevent the violation of election laws ahead of the August 18th general elections.
The police arrested 2 individuals who were pasting posters in the Pulgampol area in Meegahathanna, Kaluthara. The police stated that the suspects possessed 1,540 posters belonging to a UNP candidate at the time of their arrest. Meanwhile, the name of Harin Fernando that was depicted with a symbol has been removed by election officials. The posters depicting the candidate's name were pasted on the fleet of vehicles that were parked opposite the party office in the Kailagoda junction in Badulla. Police officers took steps to remove loudspeakers that were fixed outside a hall where a meeting convened by Minister Rajitha Senaratne was taking place.
The Campaign for a Free and Fair Election, also known as CAFE, convened a media briefing in Mathura today to shed light on how well electoral laws are being enforced in the country.
Unlike other elections, we do not see vehicles without number plates or which have temporary plates being used for election campaigning. We do not see posters or cutouts being hung in areas which are a clear violation of election laws. The police department and election department should be commended for their efforts. Citizen journalism has now come to the forefront and has become a tool to inform the police and the elections department on election violations taking place, and steps must continue to be taken in order to prevent them. In terms of elections, such public participation is unprecedented. There is a need for continued assistance from the public.
With that, let's now turn our attention to views expressed by various politicians ahead of the general election.
There is no point in simply rambling. There is no point in making false promises. We need to render a service to the villagers. During the elections, the votes of the innocent people are taken. After the election, these people are not to be found. We have fulfilled what we said we would to the people. With a minority, we managed to render such a great task. So, what can we do with a majority? We need to create a significant change through the national government. They are not as honest as they portray. The people understood this during the recent past. If you look at the 100 days, they have brought the country into a very bad situation. Mahinda Rajapaksa is enraged. I recently heard him say that he cleared the forests and developed the area to build a Hambantota airport. He built an airport to which no flights arrive. A massive loan was taken from China for this. What has happened is that the greenery that was there for the elephants is no more, and they have reached the cities, while the people in the cities have been made to go to the forests. The damages caused to the natural environment is immense, and so is the damage caused to the taxpayers' money. There was an attempt to change the electoral system. What did they do to defeat that attempt? They presented a motion of no confidence against Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. They tried to sabotage this through that no confidence motion. There were two preferential systems. Number one is that there are MPs for the district, and number two is MPs for the electorate. We wanted both these systems to be brought together. However, the United National Party sabotaged it because they are not in favour of it. Win or lose, we believe that if the 20th Amendment to the Constitution was passed, the people in the villages would benefit from it. Nothing transpired through this change. Many were watching what would happen. They said that the rogues will be nabbed, but no one was caught. The election manifesto includes an article where a bill will be presented to Parliament to legalise the FCID. It is investigating 349 complaints at present. Once they are proven, they will be taken up in court and those responsible will be found guilty. The law will be implemented.
They say that Mahinda Rajapaksa was a rogue, a fraud and an undemocratic person. But none of them would say that Prabhakaran was a murderer. All this is said to the leader who saved the country. If Maithripala Sirisena had lost the election, he will not be in the presidential secretariat nor at his official residence. The official residence would be the government hostel. Sarath Fonseka ate rice there. That will be the fate. Therefore, President Maithripala Sirisena has not risen from the dead. Who will come next to defeat Mahinda Rajapaksa? It will be Ranil Wickremesinghe. The JVP has fallen in love with him. They have to. The founder of the JVP, Rohana Vichevira, was killed during the government of the UNP. They say it is not like going to temple trees. They speak with Ranil Wickremesinghe and go here and there. If you remain in one place, you will not get to know of anything. At this election, the people must make the decision as to whether they will move to the 21st century or not. Or will you give the power to govern the country back to Mahinda Rajapaksa? If Mahinda Rajapaksa regains power, there will be a very dark and family rule. There will be an autocratic rule. We thought that the arrival of the United National Party government would establish good governance and nab the rogues while taking the country to the correct path. No rogue was nabbed. Finally, they reached a deal with the rogues. Did they take action during the past 6 months? No. Politicians are persons who should risk what they have and stand up for others. However, today's politician steals from the people's money and becomes businessman. That is today's politician. We voted for people in the past. What did they do? They took a salary, vehicle permits. They made way for the importation of ethanol and drugs. They used their power and amassed wealth. Will that happen again? No, it should not. Do not be party to that crime.
Sri Lankan national Pravina Vigneshwaran was crowned the Shakti Global Superstar at the grand finale, which was held at the Stein Studios in Ratmalana today. Shakti TV's latest reality program, Shakti Global Superstar, which was held for over a year, saw its finals take place today. Shasta Kroops, a Malaysian national, was adjudged the runner-up of Shakti Global Superstar, while Australian national Keshika Amardalingam was named the second runner-up. The winner was granted a cash prize of $10,000, while the runner-up was presented with $4,000. The second runner-up was granted a cash prize of $1,500. Shakti Global Superstar was organized with the aim of providing a platform for individuals in the country and from across the world who aspire to become renowned singers.
මම දවසට රුපියල් 5000 7000 විතර දවසට හෙරොයින් බොනවා. ඒ ජීවිතෙන් ගැලවෙන්න විදියක් නැති නිසා තමයි මම මේ දේවල් කරේ.
What you witnessed was a confession made to the Athurgiri police by a suspect involved in the thefts in the worth of millions. The following report is on this suspect, who had gone to great lengths to satisfy his drug use.
This suspect was arrested based on the break-ins that were recorded on closed-circuit security cameras. Police said that the suspect was responsible for break-ins at shops that had glass windows and fleeing with goods and money. Police add that this suspect was behind a number of break-ins in Kadawatha, Kiribadgoda, Vallavatta, Athurgiriya, Tarangama and several other areas.
I have been using heroin for over 15 years. I had a good time in life when I was not using them. After I started using it, I lost my family and children. Then I started committing thefts.
Based on the information received, police discovered a number of stolen equipment and clothing in the possession of the suspect, adding that the majority of the loot had been sold. Police interrogation revealed that the suspect committed the felony to find money to buy drugs.
I did not look into the well-being of my wife and my children. We must not get addicted to these wrongs. There are better things in life. We need to experience them. That is all I can say.
Another phase of the national anti-drug drive aimed at bringing together the people to eradicate drugs from the country took place in the northwestern province today.
For over a period of 1 month, Newsfirst, Sirasa and Shakti, together with the National Dangerous Drugs Control Board, have been going door-to-door raising awareness on the ill effects of drugs. The first leg of the National Anti-Drug Drive in the Northwestern Province commenced subsequent to religious observances at the Muneswaram Kovil. Investigations have revealed that drugs that enter the country through the sea route have had damaging effects on society. Thereby, the Newsfirst staff, together with the National Dangerous Drugs Control Board, commenced its initiative to travel to the villages in the Putlam district and raise awareness. The team travelled to Pukkulam, Tibilla, Arachikattua and Ambakadavila in the Putlam district as part of the campaign to create awareness on the ill effects of the use of drugs.
You won't die at once. You'll suffer first and then you die. So my view is that the use of drugs needs to stop.
Another team was dispatched to the Kurunegala district as part of the National Anti-Drug Drive campaign. The campaign commenced following a religious ceremony in Vilgoda.
The people who live here are mostly labourers. We heard that they use drugs to ease the pain in their bodies or for some other issue. This is wrong. We are here to change this negative attitude.
The team, with the members of the Newsfirst and the Dangerous Drug Control Board, conducted the awareness campaign by making door-to-door visits to houses located in Vilgoda, Bandarnayakapura and Mallavapitiya areas in the Kurunegala district. The door-to-door anti-drug drive, which is being organized with the aim of creating a society of a healthy generation, will continue to visit the locals in the northwestern province tomorrow.
Here are some of the views expressed by individuals and families that have suffered from the ill effects of drugs.
I left my husband. He has cases against him for the sale of drugs. I'm living with my 2 children. It is sad. So we need to eradicate drugs and make this country good. Your parents too need to be blessed for what you are doing. My request is that you uproot this menace as soon as possible.
Drugs, liquor, drug pills and ethanol have become a dark cloud over the youth. And all those who bring them to the country, including the politicians, need to be removed from politics. I plead that the youth of this country be protected from this menace.
This country does not need drugs. All those who support this menace, including the politicians, need to be removed. We do not need any politicians with links to drugs. In order to protect our children, we need to remove all politicians with links to this menace.
Speaking at a meeting held in Colombo yesterday, Deputy Minister of Skills Development and Vocational Training, Lanka says that there was a setback in the communication of policies described in the Mahinda Chintanaya.
We changed in 2009, and when we wanted to fast track our development, there again under Mahinda Chintanaya, but unfortunately we have not articulated that properly. Due to fast tracking our policy decisions, those were policy decisions we have taken as a government to achieve certain things quickly. But whether the country and the public were aware or they were ready to accept that, the pace that we wanted to develop was a big question mark. So we have not communicated with the people enough to give them the real benefit of this.
The meeting of professionals, which included lawyers, medical personnel, businessmen and educationists, was organised by the Lanka Foundation and was held under the auspices of Minister Arjuna Ranatunga.
And that's a wrap of Weekend Primetime News for tonight. I'm Ramesh Bandara. Good night.